everyone. Welcome. MTL Sports here. We're on episode one. Believe we're on 174, guys. Today we got some more NFL training camp news. I believe we're going into week 2 of the training camps. Some people are showing up. Some people are switching from holdouts to hold ins. Some people are getting the deals signed. So it's definitely a lot of updates. Some people are getting released. So some training camp news to go over. Plus, we have we're a little late on this, but there's top 10 lists. Of course, we did this last year. So today we're going to touch on the offense. I think we're going to do quarterbacks, receivers, and running backs. Top 10 lists, all voted on by I think coaches, execs, and GMs. So, with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Training camp news. I think first things first, we gotta go with one of the Bengals holdouts, Shamar Stewart, the rookie, pick number 17 in this year's draft. He signed his deal. I think this happened on, I believe it was Saturday. Signed his 4 years. I think he's like slotted at $17 or $18 million. Basically, he agreed to the language in the contract, Lawrence, plus, Mike Brown gave him extra $500K on his signing bonus. That's due up front, and then they'll pay the rest of the signing bonus in, I believe, December. So, all in all, do you think this was one of the dumbest holdouts ever, Lawrence, just for extra $500K at signing? Like, they didn't back down from the language. He kind of just, settled for this. I mean, I feel like this is a lose-lose for both parties here, and he missed valuable time.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in that way, yeah. But no, I feel at the end of the day, if the beef, I wouldn't even call it beef, but if like the animosity is gone from when it started, and both parties are pleased enough at the point that they are to move forward, then so I guess it's one of those things like so be it. But you kind of are just completely right. I mean, this is what you were holding out over, or the fact that they just weren't going to settle and you were going to settle, then that just kind of completely deflated everything you were trying to push or thinking that you were valued for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he was getting bad advice. Just some of the digging I've been doing, seems like his agent has had issues with other players, with contract disputes and stuff like that. So, and apparently, the longer this has come out, the more info we've been getting. I think the Bengals are one of the last teams to include this type of language in a contract. So, I gotta go with the team on this one. I think it's pretty silly for both sides to kind of have this holdout, but he signed. He's back at practice or training camp. He's looked good with 2 days of training camp. He's looked pretty good. We'll get into that a little bit later. Trey Hendrickson. Shefty said they're closer to a deal, and now they're negotiating about guaranteed money right now, Lawrence. Today, Shefty said it's about $6 to $10 million in guaranteed money that's basically keeping this deal from getting done. The Bengals are basically not fully guaranteeing the second year. It's going to be a 3-year deal, but they're not guaranteeing fully the second year. So they're pretty close. Do you think they close the deal this week, or do you think this will drag on a little bit later, maybe into weeks?
Well, this thing's going to drag its feet for a while. I don't think it gets done. I mean, I personally think he'll play and he'll come back this season for sure. But right now, like, he's got to stand 10 toes down on what he believes, and if what he believes is he deserves to get that guaranteed money, which, what would you say, 5 to 6 million?
No, more 6 to 10. So as much as $10 million apart
But this is not.
in overall money, not
I
like
would
per
say,
year.
does this not worry you as a Bengals fan, seeing the constant trend over of these people wanting to hold out when it was Higgins and now Hendrickson? It's like you need staple points of your team, and you already paid out almost all your money to a quarterback wide receiver duo.
No, you're definitely right. You got a point there. I think this is the last player that has to really get paid. So I think after this, it'll be smooth sailing for the most part. Now there's some people coming up that we probably got to take care of, but I don't think they'll be nearly as big drama filled stories as like this off season where there's like unnecessary hype built towards like, oh, the Bengals got to pay Chase, Higgins, and Hendrickson. Like, I feel like it was like a constant build up even in the regular season last year. So I think that's why it's like kind of like a big thing for like us Bengals fans. But I'm not too worried going into the future. But I think this needs to get done. If it's $6 to $10 million overall in guaranteed funds, I think you just got to pay the man. And if you're Trey, you're not gonna settle for. You're not gonna hold out. You're not gonna be in Florida if you're not gonna get what you want. So I think Mike Brown just gotta. I mean, it's only 2 years. Like he's like Trey is like if you look at it, Lawrence, like Trey is settling for like 2 years guaranteed when T.J. Watt is getting 3 years guaranteed. And he's way older and he has injury concerns. So I mean, come on now, come on, Mike
I mean,
Brown,
it's
come on,
just the
Bengals. You see what I'm saying?
unwillingly to not be cheap. Like it's just not in their nature. Their nature is be the cheapest possible and hope it works. And honestly, it's really sad that that's what is running and owning a team because you got to give something care in order for it to flourish. And there's honestly just no money going in towards it.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're 100% right there. We'll keep an eye on this one. Another holdout, Scary Terry. We talked about this a lot, but now he's holding in. I think he reported on camp on Sunday, Lawrence. He was, accruing the 50K fines every day. Now he's holding in. I think he's technically on the injured list too, with an ankle or something like that. I don't know if you heard much about it, but um, do you think they're closer to a deal because he's holding in, or do you think that he don't want to have the fines rack up and now he can
No,
get
I think he
treatment and
wants to
stuff
get
like that for
signed.
his
I think
ankle?
there's going to be a deal because if you saw the clip, it was Jaden Daniels starting a "Let's Go Terry" chant. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think his guys, everyone around, is going to get him paid. I think it's just like it's going to be one of the first moves that sorry, that this regime makes because technically Terry wasn't their guy. Like that was just a piece that was already there. So they're you kind of put off paying that guy, even though you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, let's go back. They could have, signed him last offseason for cheaper, but uh, now it seems like he wants DK Metcalf money, and they're not willing to pay that. So, what are your thoughts?
True thoughts. I don't know if he's like DK. I don't want to say I don't think he's worth it, but I also don't even think DK's worth the DK Metcalf worth money. I mean, we're talking about paying people like was it 30? DK's 34, right? 34 million. I mean, if it was comfortable
Yeah.
for me, I'd be paying Scary Terry like 32. That feels high, even to me.
I mean, you're right, but I think you just got to pay him number one receiver money. And you got to look at it like this: he's not asking for a lot of years. I think if you pay him DK Metcalf money for 3 seasons instead of 4 or 5, I think
Well, the problem is, I'm pretty
I
sure
think that's
isn't
reasonable
Debo like
ask, right?
making 29 million a year, and then
He might be,
yeah, but
but
it's
you only have
it's
one more year,
salary that's
Debo,
hitting your
technically.
team twice.
But you also got to take into account you're not paying Jaden big bucks yet. So you, in reality, you can afford it. It's just gonna hurt. It may hurt a little more than you
Yeah.
want.
Well, I mean that's for them to figure out if that's the correct route for them.
Yeah, I think this is gonna. I think this one's gonna drag out too. I think this one is gonna maybe not get done until really close to the regular season starting. So I think that might affect how they start the season too. If he doesn't have reps and stuff like that, I think it might derail at least the early part of the season. Um, some other news though: Steelers release Cordell Patterson. He kind of announced it himself on Twitter, saying Steelers release old washed up Cordell Patterson today on his day off. That's pretty funny, but honestly, I don't remember him playing too much last year. I know the plan was for him to kind of be the kick returner, but I don't think he really made an impact.
I
So,
was wondering
any
what happened
thoughts on
to him
this one?
last year. No, I don't have too many crazy thoughts on it. I mean, I think his best years are behind him, and at best, he was a really good kick returner.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Uh, next up, Broncos paid Cortland Sutton 4 years, $92 million. This happened like a couple of hours ago, so it's pretty new. Remember, the Broncos traded Judy, basically choosing Sutton to be their number one receiver, or as close as a number one you can get with Sutton. I don't think he's a number one, maybe a number two, but um, I think the money's worth it. He's not making big bucks, but he's making a decent extension. So I'm not too mad
Um,
at it. What was your
well, I don't
thoughts?
think there's anything wrong with the contract. The only thing you can see in a Cortland Sutton game, in my personal opinion, after Judy was gone, was kind of either he was the main component to their drives or he just was completely irrelevant. And he would take the double team going down the left or right side, and then they would throw a deep bomb going to the opposite side, and it constantly worked. So I think you just kind of have to pay a guy who expands your offense like that.
Yeah, I agree with that one. You got to pay up sometimes, but I don't think they gave up too much money. They're still a young receiver. He can always get better. Next up, Baker gets a rework contract for next year, basically getting about 30 million in guaranteed money next year, which I think is the last year of his deal. And I also heard that they're looking into signing another extension with Baker. Basically, Tampa doesn't want to move off of Baker. He's been pretty good in Tampa. I mean, not Tom Brady good, but good enough to get them to what back to back playoff games, and they won a playoff game. So I mean, he's had some success in Tampa. Do you like the move by Tampa to kind of guarantees last year and possibly
Well, I
setting up
think for them, they know what they
another long
have
term extension?
in Baker, and Baker's going to give you everything he's got every single game. So I think the more so what they're trying to, I wouldn't say solidify or shore up. They're just trying to make sure Baker knows, like, hey, you're a guy. Don't worry about anything. We're going to take care of you. You've been, I would say, disrespected a little bit around the league over the years. Um, I think that's a fair assessment to say about some teams, and including the Panthers' own, like how they've treated him and how much actual, like, I would say, leverage he was given on his teams. And then, like, the Rams game when he came in short, like, the shortest notice possible and lit it up and almost made a comeback late in the game. These are just small things that, like, he's kind of built up towards and earned over time. even though they weren't their team. But I mean, anytime you got Mike
Yeah.
Evans, willing to return and on not like taking a less crazy deal because he likes to play with Baker as QB, like by all means, make sure the QB's happy until he's gone.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's the answer for now. Maybe once he gets older, maybe if you see a decline, then you move on. But I don't think that it's time to move off of Baker yet. I feel like keep building a talent around him, see if he can make a run. But I don't think he's any problem or issue that you don't want to keep him. So I'm cool with that. Last up, this also happened last week. I think after we started recording last episode, Raiders D tackle Christian Wilkins like unexpectedly got released, and the Raiders are trying to void the rest of his guaranteed money. I think he has like what 30+ million left that's guaranteed, Lawrence, and all these crazy stories are coming out about potentially why he was let go, and the NFLPA, was appealing the voided guaranteed money and stuff like that. But I mean, how do you feel about the situation? Like, I've never seen something like this. So I think it's just insane. The Raiders must have really had a good reason to go about the way they did it. Because 30 million in guaranteed money, bro, that's a lot of money, and it's going to be tough to kind of
Yeah.
prove that, right?
I mean, honestly, like going from there. I mean, I think there was like reports saying coming out like, oh yeah, like that man's like in the past has been known to like to grab ass and stuff like that. But like, it had to be like something I want to say more deeper and wild than that. Like this man actually like kissed him. Like we talking about, some people are saying like he kissed him on the forehead, but then others are like, no, this man like straight on kissed him. And then like I don't know, for a teammate, someone that like you've been training with, and I don't know if it's like a new, because they haven't released who the teammate is who got all mad, but like I don't know. I don't know many people to
Yeah.
get to the immediate um fight in the fight or flight stage, the immediate fight stage from a forehead peck. But there are others out there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't understand how things like that escalate. But like I said, it has to be crazy enough for that the Raiders want to go down this path. So I guess we'll find out more once some more details come out later down the line. Last two things about training camp. Titans waived Treylon
Yep.
Burks. He didn't he fracture his collarbone pretty recently. So it sucks. The Titans definitely lost that trade with the Eagles. Um, when they traded AJ Brown to the Eagles, they definitely lost that one. Um, and Cowboys left tackle. What's this guy's name? Tyler Gutton. I think he was like last
Oh,
year's first round
Geitum?
pick for them. Towards ACL. Well, potentially Guyton. Yeah, he potentially towards ACL today. So Cowboys O line looking a little hampered by this. I don't know
Did
who
you
the
see that
backup
Slater
is
got paid
or
today?
could potentially
I
be,
think he's
but
the right tackle for the
um,
Chargers. He got paid.
yep,
Yep.
Slater did get paid. He's like the highest paid D tackle now, right? Yep, that's right. So some guys are getting their money during training camp. Some guys still waiting for it. Unfortunately, Guyton potentially towards ACL. We hate to see it, but definitely a blow for the Cowboys O line. They still haven't paid Micah, and some of these press conferences that Jerry's having versus some of these media talks that the players are having are crazy. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Lawrence, but I'm getting the vibes that he's really pissing off his players. Like
As they shouldn't,
they're not
because
vibing with Jerry
he
right now.
thinks that he's. Honestly, he just thinks he's bigger than the league at some points. Because like the guys, These are the guys you pay to run on that field and win, and playing games and make you a lot of money. And then the thing is, like, you'll just lose fans, and if you lose fans, you lose all your revenue, and then you're forced to sell your team at a lower cost, or you I wouldn't say tarnish your name, but like you just kind of make you the notorious place to, yeah, I'll play in Dallas, but I want a little extra money when I'm playing in Dallas.
I think that's exactly the mindset people are going to have. Next up, we got the top 10 list. Let's start with the receivers. I think that's the most recent one. I believe so. Um, let's start our way. Actually, let's go from the. You already seen number one is. Let's start away from the bottom, work our way up. Number 10, Garrett Wilson. Mike Evans is 9. Nico's 8. Neighbors is 7. 6 is Amon Ra. And rounding up the top, I guess 6 is AJ Brown. So, do you think the first 6 or so are justified? Do you think ESPN has them in the right
Personally,
order?
it feels like
What are your thoughts?
the writer for the novel or for the column is like a big Giants fan, and he's really riding that wave because Neighbors is pretty good, but top 10 wide receiver year 2 kind of good. I'm not really gonna believe that kind of realm. No, I'm just simply not gonna agree to that one. There's several guys out there just more experienced and give you more game after game or game to game. Um, Also, I feel it's a bit of a stretch to have Mike Evans lower than Nico, but I mean, it's onesie twosie. It's a flip of a spot. It's not that big.
I think we lost Lawrence for a little bit. Um, next up, all right. I mean, I agree with everything Lawrence is saying. I think Neighbors being on the list is a stretch. If anything, he should be maybe closer to 10. I probably have him at 9 or 10. Garrett Wilson didn't have a good year, but I mean, I could probably keep Garrett there, put Neighbors at 9, and then move Evans probably where Neighbors is at 7. I don't think Nico Collins is better than Neighbors. Um, Nico Collins probably. I mean, honestly, you could probably argue that Puka needs to be on this list, Lawrence. That's what I'm thinking. Puka should probably have a spot on this list, but I mean, so if we're going with that, I think maybe Neighbors goes off and you replace Puka on the list. I don't know. I think Puka definitely needs to be on the list. Like he had back to back years of being great. Um, even when Cooper's been hurt both years, so even when he's been hurt, this man's still balling. So I'm putting Puka on the list.
And then who you taking off? I missed it a little bit there.
I would take off either Neighbors or Wilson, and I'm leaning towards Wilson.
I don't mind it, but I feel like taking Wilson off is just kind of a cop, anyways, because he's already at 10, so you can easily just move and flip him off there. I just think the
Yeah,
Neighbors at 7. That's just someone writing because they're a New York Giants fan, or you know, that's their home market is New York. That's like the only way Neighbors is top 10 in my opinion. I think that, yeah, there's just too many other guys around.
I agree. Of course, the AJ you said is 5, CD is 4, 3 is Tyreek, 2 is Jay Jettas, and number 1 is of course Uno. Um, thoughts about 1 through 5? I mean, for me at first glance, I think you could honestly probably pit AJ at 3. I feel like, or CD. I feel like they had better years than Tyreek. I don't think Tyreek was their best receiver last year.
Yeah, personally,
Definitely some slippage.
I put just off the field and on the field as it is, as part of it. I would put Tyreek below him. I think I would move CD up. CD causes like no outside noise, no problems on and off field. Like he gives you everything, and honestly, like he is the only wide receiver on that team. They don't have another one. Sorry, the rest of them are just cheap. Ferguson, he got a deal today. He's not that bad. It's a tight end. That's not wide receiver. I mean, other than him, like there is no
Yes.
other wide receiver that's decently good.
Yep, 100%. So with all that being said, yeah, CD's still doing some really very impressive performances. Honestly, without somebody to help him. I mean, that changes this year with Pickens, but he'll still be able to put up numbers. So I agree with you on that one. My personal opinion, I think Jamar is the best receiver, but I mean, honestly, this is a 1A and 1B type of conversation. Like, it's just whoever you prefer. Some people's going to prefer Jay Jetta's prototypical receiver, good route runner, catches all three stages of the game, short routes, intermediate, and deep routes. So if you like that, you go with Jay Jettis. If you like me, you like Jamar, number one. You love the yak. You love the three levels. He can run the three levels too. I think what for me the differentiator is Jamar is honestly the only guy on this list that can take a hitch and go 80 yards. You're not seeing that with anybody else. Maybe Tyreek a year or two ago, but on at this point, you don't see that from anybody else. You don't see a guy that can take a bubble screen and take it 70 yards. You don't see a guy that can break three tackles like he did against your Panthers and take it like 60 yards. It's just no one else is doing that. So that's why I got Chase Uno number one. What about you, Lawrence?
I'm fine with chasing number one. Yeah, he can break some bums' ankles. Bringing up Panthers and all. Like, oh yeah, he got one from the worst defense in the league. Oh boy. But anywho, yeah, you're right. But I mean, you still also you don't really see Jamar Chase make the same kind of level catches that you get out of um, Jay Jetta. So it's give and it's a little bit of take. I think if I got a gunslinging quarterback, honestly, I think I'd rather have Jay Jettas. If I have a methodical offense that has levels to it, I think I'd just rather have Chase for they supplement each other. I mean, Chase deserves to be on a team that's completely offensive focused. Um, while Jay Jettas, I feel like he allows you just based on the catches, like the type of catches he can make, to have less offensive to have more of like a running back, running down the throat kind of style. Whereas Chase, they're again kind of locked in that realm of, yeah, I have a guy that can do 80 yards on a yak. What do I need to run the ball for? And then I feel like you get in the Bengals games and there gets a groove where they just start throwing the ball too many times over and over again. And there's no change of pace, and then they try to do one of those cutesy little play action maneuvers, and no one's really buying the running game because, well, let's face it, like Chase Brown hasn't gone up the middle or gone further than 3 yards when running up the middle, and probably the last 4 or 5 attempts. So this is where we get Joe Burrow's one a game interceptions.
Okay, very, very all valid points there. I can't fight you on that. Um, Next up, we got running backs. Do the same thing. Start from the bottom. Number 10, Calmera. 9, Joe Mixon. Who I don't think we talked about this, but Joe Mixon's out with a foot injury for I think indefinite. So I don't know how long it takes for him to get back. James Cook. He's at training camp, but he needs a new deal. Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs at 6. How do you feel about the bottom 5? Any thoughts?
Um, well, okay, well, if we're gonna start, Alvin Kamara last year I don't think he did enough to prove it a 10th place spot. Because we're going with last year, right? Like last year's numbers, like
Yeah.
yeah, like what I brought to my team last, like so. No, I wouldn't believe in that. Um, Joe Mixon, I also don't agree with it. He just didn't do a whole lot for me last year either. Um, yeah, no, I feel like a Chuba Hubbard could have slid in there. Uh, I honestly confused because like I don't know how you're gonna have David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs in the top five, but like one of those should have been in the top 10. Some like I would say there's like some name biasy a lot throughout here, right? But James Cook is fine.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree with James Cook. I think everyone else, I feel like is in a good spot. I feel like like you said, the last two guys, Mixon and Kamara, you can argue that two other guys probably could take their place. But everyone else, I'm fine with so far. Josh Jacobs had a good year going from Vegas, going to Green Bay, did really well there. So number 6 works for me. Moving into top 5, C-Mac, and C-Mac barely played last year, but if you're going off of what he could do this year, it makes sense. Um, it's not Bijan Lawrence. He corrected all of us and said it's Bijan. He said it on like an NFL Plus network little interview. I think it was like yesterday or 2 days ago. So Bijan at 4, Jameer's at 3, Derek King Henry's at 2, and of course Saquon's number 1. Any thoughts about the top 5? For me, I feel like top 5 is correct order. I don't have any other thoughts other than if I mean if we're going by last year, C-Mac should not be on the list. But if you're including other seasons too and what you know you can get from C-Mac when healthy, it makes sense to have him top 5.
Yeah, but then that also goes back to why is Mixon on there and different things like that. But I guess looking at the list as overall as like as a chunk, I don't like the Chuba Hubbard snub. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler last year due to alternate, but still. Um, and honestly, like David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs kind of carried multiple games for the Lions. And I get it, Jameer Gibbs is on the top 3, but I could easily see Gibbs being lower into like a spot like 4 or 5, and then having Montgomery at like 9 or 10. So that way it feels like it's more of a shared. But now Jameer is so much higher. If we remember back to last year, one of the main problems I had with Jameer on my team, fantasy wise, was Montgomery got all the touchdowns. So now we're just saying that Montgomery's touchdowns just weren't as impactful and meaningful to the games. Another way to look at it.
Yeah, I think you're right. At the very least, Montgomery should be 10. Um, and like I said, Chuba should be on the list as well. So I think this list has way more problems than the last one. But yeah, I mean, I can't make any case for any of these top 5 guys to not be in the top 5. So this will leave it at that. And last up, we got the quarterbacks starting from the bottom. 10, we got Baker. Number 9, we got Jalen Hurts, a little controversial right there. Number 8, we got Jared Goff. 7, we got Herbie. And 6, we got Stafford. Any problems with the bottom 5? In my personal opinion, I don't have any problems with the bottom 5. It all works for me. If you want to argue Jalen's a top 6 quarterback, I'll listen. I'm not against it. But what the guys above him had to do for their teams to win, I think you got to give them a little bit more credit than Philly, who's mostly I mean, honestly, they're just a run first team, so I don't think Jalen has to do too much, but he's still great. Any thoughts, Lawrence?
Hmm. I kind of feel like CJ Stroud did kind of nothing to get a little snubbing. I get it. We can't not have Jalen Hurts up in there because he kind of did go to the Super Bowl. But I truly don't know if he is a top 10 quarterback. He just has the best weapons, best O line, and somehow that defense is paid for with all those offensive weapons being paid for. Like just total outlier
Yep.
anomaly to the league. In my personal opinion, but I don't know. Herbert's kind of high. Can't lie, because Herbert still really hasn't, in my opinion, done jack crap.
Yeah, I don't think Herbie's won a playoff game yet. You remember he, lost that playoff game to Trevor Lawrence when he was up by what, 4 scores, and they came back and won. They lost another playoff game. Some of that's due to his coach, but also Herbie just hasn't looked good in the playoffs. So at 7, I think that's a little stretch too. Um, Moving to the top 5. At 5, we got Jaden Daniels. At 4, we got Lamar. At 3, we got Joey B. At 2, I believe we have Josh Allen. And number 1, we have Mahomes. For me, Mahomes is not the number 1 quarterback. I think you can either argue Josh or Lamar. And then after that, I think you got Pitt Joe. Mahomes has not looked good in past for. You can confidently say Mahomes has not looked good for 2 seasons. Like last year, you definitely could tell, but like even the season before, we would remember on the podcast we were talking about, hey, Mahomes just does not look as good as he's been looking. Still top 5 quarterback, still like all time great, but you can tell there's been some slippage. Not saying he's declining, but he's not at his peak. If anything, he's like plateaued or slightly declined. Um, but I mean, just decline as in like slippage, not like he's on a downward trend. So yeah, I would have Lamar or Josh at 2, at 1, or at 1, and then you put the other there, and then I think Joe is right where he is at 3. Um, so I would have probably Mahomes 4, and then Jaden's. I'm fine with Jaden at 5, just because he had a great season, Lawrence. But I mean, if we're honest, Jaden's not a top 5 quarterback. Like he's just not a top 5 quarterback. But to the Commanders to the NFC Championship game, so I think you gotta raise them up because no one expected the Commanders to be in the NFC Championship game. So that's where I'm at.
Hey, I like it. I like it. Well, I'm also in the boat that I don't know if Daniels is too high. Um, for some reason, I believe he's just too high. Like you said before, Lamar or Josh should be number 1. First and foremost, I'd probably give it to Josh just for the MVP, but then Lamar's just right behind him at number 2. But then, for real, in all honesty, like, I don't see Mahomes being so high. Mahomes just has a really overall good team around him and somehow gets bailed out by a ref every game. It's not that we believe that he's that good at this point anymore. I honestly could see Joey Burrow ahead of him. I mean, for what Joey has to do to make up for his lack of a defense.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I don't think. I mean, you're definitely right about the refs that they've bailed him out more times than I can count last season, and that's not even to count the previous seasons. But like I said, you got on tape too bad for Mahomes years. Like he didn't play like he usually plays, so it's definitely slippage. So him at 1 is kind of insane. I get you went back to the Super Bowl. You could have three-peated, but you did that on the backs of your defense. You get the best D tackle. You got one of the best tight ends ever, and you get some of the best calls ever from the refs. So, like, what are we talking about here?
Precisely.
Cool, cool. Well, that's the top 10 list. I think offensively we still have like tight ends to go, so maybe we'll do that next episode, and then we got to hit the defense before we start doing our previews of the divisions. I think Hall of Fame game is this Thursday. So finally, football is back. I don't know. I think it's Chargers and Chargers Titans or Chargers Dolphins or something on Thursday.
I have not paid
I'm not too sure.
any attention to any of the preseason stuff. I honestly don't start paying attention to preseason until honestly the day of it happening.
Yes, looks like we got Chargers Lions Thursday 8 o'clock. So tune in if you want. I might watch a little bit. But other than that, I had nothing else to add. Lawrence, anything else before we head on out? Before we head on out?
No, nothing really. Are you excited for SummerSlam? I did see coming on here right before I got into this chat that the Miz sent out a thing that what's his name, Drew McIntyre, is stuck in England, so Logan Loki needs a replacement, and Miz put on, I think it was TikTok. Well, I saw it through TikTok, but it did say The Miz at the bottom, so it was generally from his TikTok about how he should be with Logan Paul at SummerSlam fighting Randy Orton and Joey Roll.
Ooh. Yes, actually, dang. I thought it was a meme at first, bro, but no, he's stuck. It's like a passport issue. He's getting denied entry back into the U.S., so he might not make it. In all seriousness, it's kind of jeopardizing the plan. And I think, I like the Miz as a replacement. I think he's worked with Logan before, right? In some tag team.
Yeah, he's
capacity.
like who brought him into the WWE, like helped bring him in.
Yeah, so it makes sense. It kind of throws the whole storyline for a loop, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, SummerSlam is this Saturday. Remember, it's 2 nights. We got night 1 on Saturday, night 2 Sunday. So don't forget to check that out. I'm excited. I think it's in MetLife. I want to say it's in MetLife.
It's at MetLife,
so
yeah.
It's gonna be a stadium pay per view. Some of those are good, some of those are terrible. So we'll see. And I think Cardi B is hosting, which I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. So hopefully she does a good job and doesn't be corny or anything like that. Yeah, nothing else. The UFC. I think we can talk about that stuff on Wednesday probably. So I think we'll head out, guys. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you for listening on Spotify. All that good stuff. We'll try to get some more content out to you guys later this week, whether that's on YouTube or TikTok or something. Maybe we're gonna try to do a better job of getting some shorter videos out there. But anyway, we'll see you guys later this week. Peace.
Peace out.